Hey, thank you so much for attending this webinar about the Wise Men and the Wise Men Institute. I really believe that wisdom is power. I know that your time is a valuable commodity, and I promise that it will be well worth your investment. But more important than your time, I believe that you are a valuable commodity. And I want this time to be especially important for you. In this video, you're going to learn 2 lessons from the wise men that will be a pattern for you to follow your star. I also want to invite you to stay to the end because I will be giving away some bonuses for attending. But more importantly, you want to stay because the lessons build upon one another. So let's get started. Who am I? I'm Justin Jepson, and I am the founder of the Wise Men Institute. For about 15 years, I worked in the nonprofit sector, raising millions of dollars, recruiting volunteers, just having a great time with the program. It was a wonderful career. And I'm a husband and father of 4 children. But it was about 2 years ago that I started to realize that my life wasn't in alignment with what I was trying to accomplish. I had a good job, but some things just didn't seem right. Things didn't seem to be connecting. And so I started to return to my roots, and I came across, or I rediscovered the wise men. The story of the 3 wise men had always inspired me. I asked questions about them all growing up and into my adulthood. Who were they? Where did they come from? How were they chosen? Why did they follow? But over the last couple years, I started to ask different questions about them. They were more pointed questions to me and my period of my life. What kind of businesses did they have? You know, they say that it was over 2 years that they traveled. How were they able to leave those businesses? I knew at the time when I was working for the nonprofit, I couldn't leave my job. If I didn't show up 1 or 2 days in a row, I would not have a job. I would require other things. I also ask, what was their health plan like? A little porky, you know. I always said I was flabby in more areas than one, and health was one of those. But I realized the wise men, they were able to take that journey over thousands of miles, whether it be on camel, whether it be on foot, or whether it be on horseback. They took that journey and they were able to follow immediately. And I wasn't in a position that I was able to do that. What was their relationship with their wives and kids? I jokingly said, I wondered if I could never imagine them showing up one evening after being out with the guys and say, "Hey, honey, I just saw the star out with the boys and I wanted to follow. We decided to take a trip. It will probably take us a couple years." In our day, that would be called a midlife crisis. But I imagine that the wives of these wise men, they actually said, you know, you're God-fearing men, and we believe that you've been called for a greater purpose. And I wasn't living in that space with my wife or kids, or saying, you know, my kids saying, "Hey, Dad's on another visionary quest of sorts." But more importantly for me, I asked the question, why did so many choose not to follow the star? I knew that I wasn't following the star, and I didn't want to be in that position. I didn't really even know what it meant to follow the star. I realized that although I knew the lessons of the wise men, I was acting more like a wise guy. I was stubborn. I was proud. I was slow to learn the lessons that I was being taught. I was deaf, dumb, and blind to my divine potential. I knew I attended church. I knew that God had a purpose for me, but it seemed like I was not living up to that. It was as if I was checking my intuition against my personal bank account or my vacation availability. If I saw a star or I saw anything, I would first consult my bank account or the vacation schedule. I wouldn't do the other thing. And that was really disconcerting because I realized that although I had a good job, I had surrendered much of my personal power to the nonprofit. I was living in a space that was out of alignment with who I wanted to be, like the wise men. And so I realized that I had to take a shift, and it was a drastic shift. It required me to lose my job and things. I resigned that position, and that was a scary time for me. It really was, to go home and tell my wife that I resigned. I no longer had a job. To tell my kids something that this was the job that my father had, and I followed in his footsteps. My son wanted to be like me. It was as if this was the company business or the family business. We had been part of it. It was really part of our life. We loved the organization, but I realized that it was not in harmony with where I wanted to be. And realized there were 4 lessons that the wise men taught. First is power. They had the personal power. They followed immediately. They didn't murmur, I don't have enough time or money to follow my star. And I really wanted to emulate that. I wanted to be in a position where I could, in my personal power and intuition, be driven for whatever God was calling me to do. They had the wealth to be able to take the journey. They didn't complain, I don't have enough time or money. And they took meaningful gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They were able to travel thousands of miles. They had businesses. They had all these things that they were able to put on hold for temporarily, but then they were able to come back to those. And for a period of time, they were able to use those for the benefit, but also they were able to, I believe, return and start right back off where they left off. They had the health. Like I said earlier, they were able to take a journey of thousands of miles over deserts and mountains and rivers and streams. All these things that they were able to do. And I knew that I wasn't in that position. And then finally they had their connection with their families. And I knew that for me, I needed to do that. So even though it was so hard to leave, it was something that I knew that I needed to do. I found that I was also living in the land of someday. Are you living in the land of someday? Someday I'll start a business. Someday I'll lose weight. Someday I'll take the dream vacation. Someday I'll court my spouse again. Someday I'll play catch with my kids. Someday I will write the book. Someday I will be rich. Someday I will. Add your own someday on there. I realized for me, I was living in this land of someday. And the problem with living in the land of someday is you never are living in the land of now. You're not living in the now land of immediately, where you're able to step into that. And I realized that's not a place that I wanted to be in. I didn't want excuses to be with me. I really didn't want my epitaph to write someday. So up until now, it's not your fault. I'm going to say that. We've been programmed with self-defeating and emasculating messages. They've been indoctrinated in us for so long. Since birth, these messages have been planted and reinforced consciously and unconsciously. Research has shown that as much as 75% or more of everything that is stored in our subconscious minds is counterproductive and works against us. In short, we are programmed not to succeed. Most people don't have a program of conscious living, and therefore they live unconsciously in the traditions of their fathers. Most have never had it shown to them how they can reverse the negative indoctrination, and how to recognize and apply the laws of manifestation so they continue to live in the land of someday, unconsciously wondering if anything is going to change. And that is really what happens is we live in that state of day after day, whether you call it Groundhog Day, whether you call it, anything, you're living day to day to day in this perpetual unconscious traditions that have been planted upon you for years and years and years. But the glorious thing is there is a way and to change. And there is a solution. And so the first thing that I'm going to teach you is about these limiting beliefs. And the second thing is about the 10 laws of the Maker. So if you're ready to get going, then say, "Giddy up, camel boy," and we will be on our way. Earlier I shared that 75% of everything that is stored in our subconscious minds is counterproductive and working against us. Does that statistic alarm you? These are called limiting beliefs. These beliefs that are there, that have been formed since possible childhood, and then just reoccurring time and time and time again. Let me use a personal example. My 4-year-old daughter was doing something the other day, and I got mad at her. So at that time, it was as if I created and left a seed on the counter. Not knowing any better, she allowed the seed to be planted. And so the thought that she was stupid was planted. And as that happened, the seed was planted, and I was able to see over the next couple weeks and months that she started making decisions about herself that reinforced that she was stupid. One day she cut her own hair, and my wife said to her, why are you so dumb? There's another evidence that this seed is good. And it sets forth a root. And she goes to school, and she draws outside of the lines, and a friend tells her that she's stupid. So another root shoots forth. Really, she is simply gathering evidence that the seed is true. She's 4 or 5, 6 years old. She doesn't know any better. She's just hears something. A seed is allowed to enter into her inner consciousness. And every time she gathers evidence, she's just reaffirming that it's true. So most of our limiting beliefs were formed this way. We have years and years of evidence supporting that they are true. They have become such a tangled web of roots where we don't really know what is truth anymore. So if you're 35 years old now and a seed was planted much like my daughter at 4 or 5, and you have 30 years of experience and evidence showing that one of these limiting beliefs is true, it really is that tangled web. So contained within these word beliefs is the word lies. I love this, to think we believe it, but really our beliefs might be lies, and many of them are. So let's go through a few of those. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm not worthy. I'm too old. I'm too young. I can't afford it. No one will help me. It's never been done before. Change is hard. No one cares. I'm stupid. I'm scared. I'm too fat. It will take too long. And the list could go on and on about these beliefs that often we allow to formulate in our mind. They are only truth because we allow them through years and years of evidence to be true. And the amazing thing is you have to be right. You cannot not be right. And so if you say subconsciously or unconsciously, I'm not good enough, you are going to surround yourself with evidence that you're not good enough. If you say, I can't afford it, you will find evidence that you can't afford it. And then just evidence upon evidence that you really can't afford it. When I first learned about belief breakthrough, I was really skeptical, bordering on a religious term between agnostic and atheist. But the more I learned, I realized how hardened I had become. And the Bible refers to these ailments as hard-hearted, stiff-necked, or back, unbendable knees, blind, deaf, or dumb. These limiting beliefs so often leave us jaded and skeptical even to God's promises. The scripture is full of this mandate. Ask and ye shall receive. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. But every time I attended church or read these promises, my unconscious 5-year-old with decades and decades of evidence would sabotage my efforts with a full-on verbal and mental military attack. But you are unworthy. You're not good enough. You're stupid. God does not love you. And I succumbed, leaving me more and more skeptical, more hard-hearted, more deaf, blind, and dumb, more evidence to support that I was good enough. The thing is there is a solution. I love the words of Marianne Williamson, and this is paraphrased, but from her book, "You are powerful beyond measure. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. You are a child of God. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within you. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As you are liberated from your own fear, your presence automatically liberates others." This is when I hired a mentor who taught me Belief Breakthrough to help me see the possibilities, to help me see that I am powerful beyond measure. I am brilliant, gorgeous, and talented. I am a child of God. I was born to make manifest the glory of God. These limiting beliefs or these lies were just planted. And I was the gardener. I was the one that could take these and change whatever I wanted. And that led me to Belief Breakthrough. And Belief Breakthrough is really pretty simple in and of itself. It's really testing out the possibilities and questioning, are these things that we are saying, are these beliefs that we have about ourselves true? So the first one is it true? I am stupid. Is that true? You get to make a choice. The next is, do you want it to be true? Or what do you want to be true? Do you want to be known as stupid? Do you want to be known as poor? Do you want to be known as fat? Do you want it to be true? The next one is, what's a belief that you could try on that would support you better? I am brilliant. I am a child of God. I have abundance. I have all the resources I need to fulfill the measure of my creation. Life is good. I am healthy. Just filling those on. So those are new beliefs. Try on the new belief for the possibility. What would you like? Are you ready to change this new belief? And then celebrate it. Celebrate these new beliefs one at a time. There may be thousands of these evidences and these new beliefs that you need to break through. But as you break through them, it will be glorious. It will be an opportunity for you to try on something new. And that's the process of Belief Breakthrough. And the easiest way is to get a mentor that can help guide you through this process, to teach you the lessons that are needed to start to break through all of those lies that are holding you back. And without doing that, you're going to sabotage yourself, because no matter what you bring into your life, no matter how many self-help books you read, no matter how often you go to a 3-day seminar, no matter what, you're still going to have not even the roots, but the seed. The seed needs to be changed. You need to start to plant a new seed of possibility, plant a new belief in there, and then gather the evidences that support that. We have evidences for both good and for evil. We have positive beliefs and we have negative beliefs. If you have anything good in your life, That's the result of positive seeds and evidences that there are there. If there's things that are lacking, that is the thing that you need to identify and say, okay, how can I change the seeds? Am I getting the fruits that I want and changing that? So that is belief breakthrough. And I encourage that will be a lifelong study for you, something that you'll be able to change around. Once you master the belief breakthrough, you can master anything. Because whatever comes up, you will destroy it in its place. If a negative thought comes up, destroy it. Turn it around. Change it. Do you want it to be true? If not, then it's the opportunity to change it. And you can celebrate that. It's a lifetime of study, but it can start now. You don't have to spend years and years or decades or decades. It's immediate. So learning the belief breakthrough and knowing that you are a choice, that alone should be monumental. You are at choice. You can choose. It changed my life. It revolutionized everything. That is the most important lesson that I have learned through resigning my position and starting into a new life of personal power, that I'm at choice. The next one is what I call the 10 laws of the maker. The universe is governed by laws. But without the belief breakthrough, it is nearly impossible to take advantage of these laws. For example, you can't be hard-hearted and live in alignment at the same time. It is impossible. Faith and doubt cannot exist in the same mind at the same time. So here we have 10 laws of the maker. And I love the idea that God is a maker. And He has endowed us with the resources to bring into creation whatever we want. And as we do that, we will bring forth that which is good, which is powerful, which is amazing. And so these are our 10 laws. We've heard of the law of attraction. This is the law that states that like attracts like. And sometimes it gets a bad rap. But as I've read through the Bible and through other works of truth, I believe in it. I believe that like attracts like. We attract into our lives the people, things, situations, and experiences that match our deepest beliefs and thoughts. We attract into our lives what we think about most. It's our dominant and persistent thoughts that eventually manifest as physical reality. I love the law of attraction. But without the other laws, it doesn't work. And that's the thing with all the laws, is they work in alignment. And we'll go to the next one, the law of alignment. Everything we think, say, do must be in alignment with what we want to manifest. You can't be saying, I am poor but want to manifest riches. I am fat and want a healthy, sexy body. They're out of alignment. When our beliefs and actions are out of alignment with truth, it creates pain and problems in our lives. The more closely our beliefs are aligned with truth, the greater the power we have to manifest our creations with ease. The next is the law of gestation. There's a gestation period. Things do take time to come about. And that's the truth with all creation. Just like the birth of a baby, it takes time. Typically 9 months, but sometimes 7, and sometimes 9.5. It's amazing. The law of gestation doesn't necessitate that it's all the truth. For example, my wife and I have twins, a boy and a girl. The birth of twins didn't take 18 months. It actually took 7.5. So sometimes it is amazing how the law of gestation, we put time limits on things. God doesn't. Just like the birth of twins, double you would think would take double the time. It didn't. It took less time to get both babies. Just like seeds that take time to grow before they yield fruit, our dreams and goals must be nurtured and cared for over time until they are manifested in reality. Patience and perseverance allow our dreams to become reality. The law of affection is the next one. I love the law of affection because what this says is, how many people are you affecting? The more people that you affect, if you affect millions, it will bring into your life millions. And so it's really saying that we have this abundance. If you're going to affect one person or two people or three, it's not as much as a million. And so the dreams, the attraction, the alignment, all those things, you want them to be big and glorious so God can bless you with big and glorious things. Next is the law of faith. Faith is the foundation to all actions leading to creation. Without faith, we have no power to act. It really is the thing that says, okay, I can't necessarily see it in the physical form, but I see it in the spiritual creation. I will bring it forth into the physical. And that's the power to act is through faith. The law of purpose. The law of purpose is we all have our unique purpose on this planet. Our desires and actions must be in alignment with our purposes and our sacred self to achieve our highest potential. Our sacred self embodies the highest, most accurate truth from which we can create the greatest potential. We are makers, and makers know how to fulfill their purpose. The law of intuition. We are infinite beings with access to limitless wisdom and insight. I love the mandate to fulfill the measure of your creation. God has asked us to be stewards over all things upon this earth. He is the owner. We are the stewards. We have a stewardship. We are there to fulfill our mandates. And He has promised that He will give us all the resources that we need to fulfill the measure of our creation. To what end wast thou created? If it was, I know you. You were created to be a maker of boundless things. That's awesome. That you have all the resources at your disposal. The law of choice. We talked about choice a little bit. You are at choice. You can choose. You can choose to use these laws. You can choose to use belief breakthrough. You can choose to enter into the divine of who you already are. It's a choice. We are solely responsible for the results in our life. Regardless of outside influences or circumstances, we can always choose what we think or do. We are accountable for the results that we create. While we cannot always control what happens to us, we can choose how to perceive it and how we respond. The more accountability we take for our reality, the greater the power we have to change it. Next is the law of the harvest. Our life is like a garden. We reap what we sow. Every word we speak, every thought we think, every choice we make is a seed for creating the future. All results in our lives are from these fruits. It's so glorious. And the law of gratitude. One of the great commandments of God is to express thanks in all things. Gratitude for all things, whether it be positive or negative. It's our thinking that makes it so. Someone said, "Oh, this is hard." And a mentor of mine said, "Compared to what?" Isn't that amazing? Compared to what? It really is hard only if we choose to make it hard. It can be glorious. It can be beautiful. Some of the most wonderful sermons have happened in prisons, making you wonder if prison is actually a holy sanctuary, a place where the divine makes manifest. And where that starts is the law of gratitude. I love belief breakthrough, and I love the 10 laws of the Maker. These are the things which will enable you to step into ultimate power, that you can create anything, that you can live by those laws. You can reverse anytime a belief comes up saying, I'm not worthy. Is that true? Do you want it to be true? I believe in the law of purpose. I believe in the law of faith. I believe in the law of intuition. I believe in the law of choice. All those things are within. They are there for you. So this is an invitation for you to be at a conscious decision to follow. And I want to invite you to do that. There's a couple reasons that mentors are available. The first is information. Information can come in a variety of ways, and it's readily available. You search the internet on any of these laws, and you can find them. It comes cheap, and too often it comes so cheap that we don't take action. We file it away as good information to one day access if necessity becomes large enough. How many of us have seen, you downloaded a free ebook, we've downloaded a course, we've downloaded something, and we've just left it on the shelf just to sit there looking at us, staring at us, saying, like a diet plan, another book on the shelf, the diet plan section of our lives. The second reason for a mentor is somewhere there to check in, to ensure that the information is acted upon and completed. These are good because you're feeling accountable for something, but still the program you have to do it. It's a step up from information because it requires you to do something. But then the third, which I love the most, is transformation. A mentor who brings in transformation, who has the information, who has the accountability, but more specifically, they are there to transform you. They take these lessons and they transform you. That's what my mentors have done for me. They have taken the lessons of belief breakthrough and the lessons of 10 lessons of the Maker, and they have transformed my life and given me back my personal power. That's what I want to give to you. I'm opening up my calendar for a few strategy sessions for two reasons. First, I believe in you and that you were created for a purpose. You may not realize it, but I do. I want to be your champion. There is only one you, and there will only ever be one you. I believe that when God wants to change the world, He sends a little baby. We were all babies once, and all the prophecies and promises are within, waiting to be fulfilled and set free. You are the prophecy and the promises that were meant to be fulfilled. You were the glimmer of hope in your parents' eyes. You were the baby that was sent to change the world. What is your star that you need to follow? My second reason is I feel there is a revolution of consciousness that is happening around the world. I feel that people are stepping up to their personal power. And I want to be there as the champion for that. And so what I'm offering is a free Wise Men Roadmap. What this is it's a 30-minute strategy session with me and you one-on-one to get clear on what are your limiting beliefs and how are you getting stuck time and time again. What are the things that you need? And I want to help you find a strategy to use belief breakthrough and the laws of conscious creation to get what you want. But more importantly, I personally will lead you through a belief breakthrough process on your number one limiting belief keeping you from your greatness. This first step to take you through that process is powerful because this will change your life. At the end, I will send you a belief breakthrough script and the 10 laws of the Maker, along with a couple top action steps. If you choose a free consultation, you'll get all these things. But more importantly, it will give you an opportunity to go back and be a conscious maker in your own life, to step into that choice, to reconnect, to follow your star. I really appreciate that you spent a little bit of time with me today to learn about belief breakthrough and the 10 laws of the Maker. I love these. I have dedicated my life to this. I wrote the book about it. I'm writing 2 additional, one called God is a Maker, because I believe in the laws of the creation so much. It's going to dive into these laws. It's going to take this belief breakthrough and it's going to explode this out, because I believe that we are children of God, and that and He is a maker, and so our divine birthright is we are makers. What a fabulous thing. He has left all the resources and abundance of the world, and He has invited us to be co-creators with Him. I love that. I love that analogy. I love that perspective. I choose to believe that, and I hope I can help you believe that too. If you are without hope, if you are questioning whether this stuff can be possible, just allow the possibility to exist in your mind. That's really what it is. Allow the possibility, the faith. Don't be hard-hearted. Don't be deaf, blind, and dumb to your potential. This is your time. There is only one you. There will only ever be one you. Whatever the prophecies that were meant to be fulfilled with you, if they're left undone, will not be done or fulfilled. So go ahead and click on the button below for this free Wise Men Roadmap. Take some time. I want to be there for you. I appreciate the time that you've spent with me today, but more importantly, I want to spend more time with you in the future. And there I am, looking at that abundant, fulfilled life. Thank you for being here. Remember the 2 principles. First, we have the limiting beliefs, and through belief breakthrough we can conquer anything and step into our greatness. And secondly, we have the 10 laws of the Maker. Make sure that whatever you do, you adopt the belief of belief breakthrough and these 10 laws. I bless you. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful life, and follow your star.